Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to do something a little fun, something different. It is along the lines of favorites, but I saw it on an Instagram reel, two different versions of it, and it really piqued my interest. I thought it was really interesting, and that is the favorites of the senses. And I thought, wow, that's really great. So I used it as an exercise to help me unwind one evening, and it was really fun. I wrote down all the senses, and I wrote down what was interesting to me, what was appealing to me, and so it sort of became a concept for this video, and here we are. So I thought that I would share those with you. So let's get into it. Hearing. My favorite here has to be a book that Audible recommended to me based on my reading habits, a book that they thought I would enjoy. And that was a book by John Waters, the cult filmmaker who's made so many films. He's made films like Hairspray, Serial Mom, Polyester, Peckers. I mean, there's so many films. I don't know too much about him, but I do know that he is a very interesting person from a few things that I've read about him and just different snippets that I've seen of him either on social media or old footage on television and interviews. I know that he is an interesting person, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And so, of course, I bought the book, and they were right. It was a book that I really did enjoy very much. He has a lot of insight and a lot of fun tidbits. So it's really a fun read. You're like on a ride with him, and he narrates it, so it makes it even more fun. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought that I would. His life is just very interesting, and he knows so many interesting people, and not necessarily all of them super famous. He just attracts all of these characters, and it really was something that I enjoyed. I think I've mentioned before that I love to listen to audiobooks on my way into the office or on the way home. It's just a really nice way to unwind and relax. It really helps me clear my head so that when I get home, I'm not thinking about work. And so this book was definitely a lot of fun, and it's one that I really enjoyed a lot. I mean, what a life. This is one of my favorite places, and certainly one of my favorite local hikes. I love this place so much because it really stimulates all of my senses, but in particular, it really stimulates my sense of smell. There are so many eucalyptus trees, and I just love that pungent scent that they give off. And I really love how you weave in and out of different terrain and groves of trees with all their different scents. But the eucalyptus is one of my favorite scents, and that's why I love coming here with all the different microclimates and the different terrain and the different views. It is absolutely stunning. What I really have been enjoying very much is lemon-filled olives. So let me give some context and how I stumbled upon these olives. So if you don't know this, about a month ago, I did a full body detox cleanse. And while I was on this cleanse, I had prescribed foods that I had to eat. I went from eating solid foods to eventually having all detox shakes on this program that I was on. Part of the program was that you could have unlimited vegetables. You could have whatever you wanted. Even when you were on the shake protocol, you could have unlimited veggies. But the funny thing about it was that olives were considered a vegetable. Weird, right? But, you know, I'm a planner by nature, so I thought, you know what? I knew for me that was like my little treat in my mind. I don't see them as a vegetable. But I thought, you know what, let me get myself some olives in case I get myself in a bind and I'm hungry or I'm cranky. And I figured that olives would kind of cheer me up or make me feel better. So I prepared and I went to Trader Joe's to get some olives. And I was absolutely delighted by the assortment that they had. I mean, I never really have shopped for olives, honestly. I mean, I I really don't. So I sort of was perplexed, like, wow, look at all of this assortment. What should I pick? And I settled upon these lemon peel stuffed olives. And, it sounded really interesting and they sounded delicious, but, I didn't really have high expectations. I was like, 50-50, they might be good, they might not be good. But they sounded intriguing. So I put 2 jars in my basket, but as a backup, I got some Kalamata olives just in case, because I know that I know I like Kalamata olives. So I got some Kalamata olives. Well, a few days passed and I opened up the jar. I cracked the emergency jar. I needed some olives, and wow. They were absolutely delicious. So delicious. And it was nothing that I really expected. I almost expected the lemon peel to be slightly offensive in the mouth, like sort of like when you accidentally bite into like a lemon peel or an orange peel. It has a taste that's not very appealing. So I kind of half expected it to have a tinge of that taste, but it didn't. It was really mellow. It's the brine that really mellows out the peel. And so instead, when you bite into it, my mouth is watering just thinking about it, but when you bite into it, it's really bright and it's like sunshine in your mouth. Just so delicious. They're big green olives stuffed with lemon peel. If you have a chance, you have to try them. They're absolutely delicious. Sight. For me, sight has to be White Lotus season 3. And I think I'm not alone here, but visually very stunning. I mean, the location, Thailand, the hotel, everything about it is just so beautiful. But at the same time, it's almost like when you see decaying foliage or flowers, they're beautiful on the outside, but beneath the surface things don't always appear what they are. And that's certainly this season of White Lotus. It's been really wow. I mean, I can't even say enough. But let me start off first by saying that I think it's probably one of the first will always be my favorite because that's what introduced me to the show. I thought the second one was okay. I mean, it was good. But this one for me is my favorite, I think. It's probably my second favorite. And mainly I have to say because of the characters. I really love the characters. I have to say my first character is Parker Posey. Duh. I mean, she's amazing. But really my favorite character is Walter Goggins, who plays Rick Hatchett, who's kind of like, I think he's a hitman. He is just blowing my mind. And then runner up is Sam Rockwell in that scene that no spoiler alerts here, but the scene in the bar. WTF, right? I mean, wow. I never expected that to happen, for him to say those things, for that to be what was going to take place. It really like came out of nowhere. And what I loved about the scene is that he kept going on and on and on. I love how the camera pans out and pans into Walter Goggins' character, Walton. I always want to call him Walter. Pans to his face, and his reaction is exactly my reaction. And I'm sure everyone else who was watching, right? It was like he didn't even know. He had no clue. He had no words. All he could say was, like, wow, because he was so absolutely stunned. And I felt like because our reactions were so aligned, I felt like I was there with him, that scene was really iconic, so powerful for me because I felt like both Walton and I were in the room, both of us had our minds blown by the scene. And Sam Rockwell, wow, what a powerhouse. the way he delivered those lines as if just another day. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I thought that was, I'll never forget that scene. Incredible. And then for me, Parker Posey, I think what's interesting for me is that I feel almost that her character is an extension of Party Girl. So if you ever saw the movie Party Girl, I think it came out in the 90s. It's an extension of that in the sense that it's a stereotype almost of the party girl who then settles down and marries the wealthy man and then lives ever after. Not happily ever after, but lives ever after, except her ever after is a little more dark, a little more sad, comical, all of those things combined. She plays that role so beautifully, as only she could. But I just thought it was really a really interesting choice and a good choice. I've really been enjoying Parker Posey. And then an honorable mention to Walton Goggins' character's girlfriend, Chelsea, Amy Lou Woods, who, oh, I mean, I love her. Adorable. The character she's just so wonderful. I love her character. Love the teeth. I mean, she's just so charming. But I've really been enjoying it, and I don't know how many more episodes. I didn't check to see, but I'm sure it's almost over, and I'll definitely have to rewatch it. But I have definitely been enjoying that. So comment down below if you've been enjoying it. I've read mixed reviews. I think it's some people, I was really shocked to see that some people think it's the worst one of all. And then there are others like me who think it's really fantastic. But I really love the cast, and I just love the setting. But that definitely is my pick for Sight. One of the things that I love is when I'm in the garden, the act of just putting my hands in the dirt and just touching dirt, turning over the soil, playing with the soil, planting the plants in the soil. There's just something about it for me that is so primal. And I don't know, ever since I was a little girl, I didn't have a garden as a young child, but we would visit my grandparents in Minneapolis, and my grandfather had a small garden, and I remember I went through this phase one summer where I loved dirt so much that I started eating dirt. I know it sounds really disgusting, but I definitely went through a phase of eating dirt, and I remember he caught me and I denied it, and I lied and said that I wasn't eating dirt. And I remember going straight into the bathroom. I was really embarrassed and I felt ashamed, and I remember looking at my face and it was covered in dirt. And you know, my grandfather was kind in that respect. He just let me lie, knowing he knew that I knew, and I think that was really enough. But luckily that phase only lasted a summer and I stopped eating dirt. But to this day, there is something about being in the dirt, having my hands in the dirt, that I love so much.